Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our season of Voice Actors. Today we have a very special guest who, Zach, do your thing. Let's have an intro.
Dear listeners, our oracles stand eagerly by, awaiting signs of our latest. Wait, what's going on? Do we need to sound treat the temple? What is that echo? Echo. What are you talking about? Why are the statues echoing me? Well, of course I'm expecting a portent. Are you going to tell me or not? Wait, the statues are echoing me. I'm getting interviewed, but I haven't prepared. Improvise. I work from scripts. I don't know how to.
You're on the air.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's me. I think I don't really have anything prepared, so I'll let me handle this, please. Who are you? I'm the intro guy. You? I'm the intro guy. We're both the intro guy. We are the same, yet different, just as we in our many years of fandom have had to ask questions like, who watches The Watchmen? So too must we answer similar, smaller questions like, who introduces the intro guy? The answer, why, who else but the intro guy, Mr. Zachary Johnson. First brought on board the Fanitarium by your magnanimous host, Mr. Jeremiah Stewart, Mr. Johnson spends his time narrating audiobooks, studying mathematics for business and pleasure, and of course is the man fortunate enough to have been granted the honor of introducing some of the greats of the voiceover world, including several of his own childhood voiceover icons. And he is here to enjoy a conversation with Mr. Stewart and the company of both him and his wonderful audience. Though he would feel slightly weird extending his typical greeting to himself, he will say it is indeed a pleasure to be welcomed to the Fanitarium.
Surprise, the guest is Zach.
Hi. I was waving.
So
then I realized
it's been a long time.
It has. It has been. I was just saying, just before we were talking, I was like, my girlfriend was asking, how long have you known Jeremiah? And I was like, I dawned on me that I'd known you for like 7 years. And it was like, when did that happen?
7 years ago.
7 years. Yes.
Though it's been, before I went to Flagstaff, I think, when you were an active host.
Yes.
So 4 years since you've been an active host?
Yeah, that was the Bombad News Network.
Yeah.
Yes. That was fun.
Though I will say, if I ever get DC Douglas on, I'll make sure you're a co-host that one.
Yay. Oh my God, I love Legion so much.
DC Douglas is just a fun guy.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He voices two of my favorite characters ever, Legion and Wesker. How can you go wrong?
You really can't. You really can't.
Unless it's to become friends with Wesker, then don't do that.
Yes. No, don't.
Bad idea.
But nonetheless.
Yeah. So I think the last time you were on proper, I think it was when we did an interview of you and a bunch of other listeners talking about, voice acting or writing and, just a whole ton of what listeners are doing thing. I think that was 2016. I think so.
Wow.
That was when I lived in Utah.
That's weird.
And since then, I've moved. I went to Flagstaff, got a master's degree, and then came here. And I've been here. It's my second year here, so,
You sound so accomplished. Good job.
Yeah, but I work in, public schools, so it's not like it's going to pay much.
Yeah, but you still get to say you have a master's degree, so that's cool.
But it doesn't let people call me master, though.
That is true. How come PhDs get doctor, but you don't get master? So, like, instead of Mr. Stewart, you're Master Stewart.
If they did that, more people would have master's degrees.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, more people would be teachers.
But you've been busy, for people who don't know, you've been busy in college.
I have.
Though a little bit extended in college, right? Because weren't things going a little slower for a time?
Well, yeah, because, I'm doing the ever so glamorous work and go to school thing. So I'm taking a slower course load, just kind of slow and steady until I get to graduate school. My
mindset in my undergrad was work and school, but school is cheaper if I do get as much done as possible. So I took a heavy school load and a heavy workload and just never slept. At one time there was an intervention to make sure I eat more food.
Dude,
let's just say at one time in my undergrad, I was It's here. I have a dad bod now, so it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But I was 60 pounds lighter than I am now.
Due to starvation?
Due to basically school, I'd get up. I might eat breakfast, might not. I'd walk to school, go to classes, walk 4 miles to work all day, walk 4 miles back home, maybe eat, sleep, repeat. So I was walking roughly 8 to 10 miles a day.
That's
working
impressive.
And doing usually 14 to 16 credit hours.
And how many days a week were you working?
As many as I possibly could.
So between 5 and 7?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, as a math major, sir, I can tell you were walking between 40 and 56 miles a week. My education is paying for itself right now.
And then some of these times would be like, think December. I worked at JCPenney. When do you get off of work in holiday times?
Almost never.
So I'd be walking home at like midnight or 1 a.m.
Good Lord, sir. Much respect.
So it was a fun time. A lot of caffeine and a lot of haze. Yeah,
well, that's what working at a coffee shop does for me. Free caffeine for a college student is a beautiful thing.
But so you've been doing that, and how much? What are you studying?
I'm a math major.
So voice acting and math. So you got to do the math to figure out if you're being paid right. So you can do the math to do your SAG-AFTRA contracts and be like, oh, you're ripping me out.
Oh yeah. I'm working on that now. I just have to get my forceful business voice down.
But so math, and then what do you plan on doing with it?
I would love to be a college professor. Actually, I got invited at my community college to guest lecture a few times, and I've done it once, and I had 3 more lined up this semester, and then all this craziness happened.
And then,
so obviously,
and then Plague Inc. happened.
Yes.
I played that game so much that I'm like waiting for someone's gonna hit the mutate button, and then the death really happens.
Oh,
because in that game, you like to infect everyone, and then you're like, there's the death button.
Exactly. No, you do exactly. The scary thing is you do exactly what COVID does, which is you infect stealthily and asymptomatically. And so now you're right. I'm worried at the last minute that we're just a big game of that. Somebody's going to press activate all the deadly symptoms after 6 billion people have it.
They're going to hit the diarrhea button. No, they're all ready for that.
Just 6 billion people all at the same time. That's
they're
horrifying.
Prepared for that, though. No.
Some of them are.
But one thing I would say I'm quite impressed with, last time we talked, I think you had 4 books on Audible, maybe 5.
Yes.
And right now, your list has gone up quite a bit.
It's expanded a little, yes.
Let's see what a current one is. I had it loaded, but then I closed the window because I remember.
I think it was A Whisper to the Moon is my most
29,
recent.
I think, is what you have right now.
Oh yeah, 29. Yeah. I think shortly between me talking to you about this, or shortly after me talking to you about this, I ended up recording what's so far been my favorite book I've ever done. I don't think anything's quite topped it since.
Oh?
Yeah.
When's it coming out?
So it's already out. It's been out for a little while, but it's one of those ones where I was just it was one of those ones that I did for just because as soon as the author sent me a sample and I read it, I was like, this is incredible. And I need to be part of this. But it was a long time ago. Quest of the Dreamwalker. It was one of those books where I wasn't, because I had taken on quite a few projects and I was like, I'm ready for a break. And then this author, Stacey Bennett, sends me a message going, hey, I think you'd be a really good fit for my characters. Would you mind reading my book? And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a look. And then I read this and I was just like, this is incredible. And yes, please give me the reads.
Nice.
Yeah.
Though I will say, looking at some of the ones that you've read, though, I'm really confused. Why do they have the cannabis cookbook on Audible? Do people just want their recipes read to them?
That was a question. I didn't really question it because, the gig paid really well. But I was just I was doing that. I think the reason that one's on Audible is because he did have the author. Actually, the author's name is Terry. I never learned whether Terry was a man or a woman or somewhere in the middle. But I remember Terry Gordon, the author, had these really nice like intros to each of the recipes. So those were a lot of fun to read. And then it was, but in terms of like the actual recipes, yeah, you're just reading them out loud. And then you're occasionally inserting like, pause here while you gather your materials, or or like, stop here and wait a few seconds and then come back to this page when you've done this. And yeah, I guess, I think I could think of, hey, MasterChef had a blind chef win, so who knows? Maybe that person used
It's just interesting, though, because, like, how do you find recipes in an audiobook? Like, it's not really searchable very well.
It's not, although I think I think the way that it's written, they have the chapters are grouped by like different categories. So I know you can search it for that. So like if you want to make breakfast, that's chapter 1, and if you wanted to make lunch, that's chapter 2. But yeah, there's like, I think there's something like over 100, maybe even more recipes than that in that book. So yeah, I think literally you can skip like every 30 seconds you skip, you would hit a new recipe.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know you had a book come out last week, I believe is when Betrayed came out, right?
Oh, Betrayed. Yeah. Audra Trosper. She's a friend of Stacey Bennett's, actually. She's a great writer.
The one thing with that one is you had a co-narrator. So how did you divide this up? Is it one chapter about with a female point of view, one with a male point of view? Is that what it is?
So I have done that before. That's actually with a book called The Prince's Rogue, where it was I worked with a narrator named Vanessa Moyen, and she and I would alternate because there was a male character named Baldair that I would do. And I did him in a Scottish accent, and poor Vanessa didn't know that coming into the series because the first book was all him, or at least all male. So I made this poor woman adopt a Scottish accent that she didn't know she would have to adopt. And I was like, oh, I felt so bad. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of how it works. Although with Betrayed, I actually have a very, very small part. The woman that narrated it, oh my goodness, I feel terrible. I can't remember her name
Suzanne
off the top
T.
of my
Fortin.
head. Suzanne T. Fortin, yes. So what Ms. Fortin does is like 99% of the book. I'm just, at the end of each chapter, I voice her like demon compatriot named Caius, and he's like this reluctant, brooding, kind of Batman-style character, but he's kind of a demon turned good, sort of. He's a bit immorally ambiguous. I really like him, but I have one sentence of commentary at the end of every chapter, which it sounded like it was an easy gig, but at the same time there was one I remember where it was literally just all he said was damn her, and I had to like say this 20 different ways because it sounded so silly to me to just say those 2 words and then just stop. Yeah, so I'm just at the very, very end of the chapters.
And are you doing most of these still through ACX where you kind of audition for different books, or is it more like they come to you now?
I do a lot of it through ACX. Betrayed she approached me because that was a connection through Ms. Bennett with Quest of the Dreamwalker. But with this last one I just got hired to do, it's not out yet. It's probably not going to come out for a few more weeks just while it goes through post-production and stuff because we're doing a lot of other stuff to it. But that was another connection that approached me, but a lot of it, like Whisper to the Moon, I still do. I got through ACX, so it's a mix now.
Okay, and yeah. These are also a mix of length. Some are 3 hours, some are 5 hours, some are 2.
Yes.
Some are 8. You still haven't hit one of those 50-hour books yet. None of those
Not
Wheel of Time, Memory of Light. You don't want a memory. Can you imagine reading Memory of Light and having to keep up to that schedule?
Oh my goodness, I cannot. I would. I might ask to be paid a little bit up front for that because you'd be working for months.
Well, I think if you did Memory of Light, you would be paid quite handsomely because that's guaranteed bestseller.
Oh yeah.
Just saying, it's a Brandon Sanderson Wheel of Time book. It's guaranteed to pay.
Oh no, yeah. Oh my God, working for Brandon Sanderson, that's life goals. But yeah, I couldn't imagine. That's like months of just listening to myself talk because I do all of my own editing too.
Well, I do
because
wonder,
I'm a masochist.
So I do wonder this though. So you go through ACX. Does ACX also have people auditioning for like the Audible originals?
That's a good question. I haven't auditioned through ACX in a while because I've been occupied with this last thing because it's a whole series.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know because I haven't seen Audible originals pop up on there. At least
I
not
know
since
Audible
last I
makes a lot
checked.
of originals now, usually
do.
audio dramas or different cast members. But
They do.
ACX is where I know most people that do it, unless it's like a celebrity person who they bring in themselves, or
I
someone
would
the author party picked.
I would imagine it's probably the latter, just because Amazon being Amazon probably has so much clout that they're just like they just would want to handpick their people.
Amazon has
You know,
enough money on hand that people were joking around recently, getting shocked when there was an article by an analyst that said, while the stocks are down, Apple might buy Disney, and people are like, there's no way Disney's not big. Disney's too big, but Apple has enough cash
oh
on
yeah,
hand to buy Disney. So does Amazon. So does Microsoft. The only
oh
three
yeah.
companies that could. Amazon was like, oh, $1 billion for Lord of the Rings. Pff, okay.
All right, yeah.
Here's
Okay.
$1 billion, 5 years. It's fine.
Let's.
Netflix couldn't do that. Netflix like $1 billion. No.
That's all of Netflix.
But oh yeah, I guess they could just go out and try to find their own. But that would be a nice gig to get onto once you get it. Because I assume once you get into the Audible original stuff, they keep using it. Because I know like there's some people.
Mm-hmm.
I get the free. I'm a member of Audible, and they do like the 2 free like originals a month that you can get.
Yes.
And some of them have there's like one guy who does pretty much all like romantic comedy books.
Mm-hmm.
There's various people that do a lot of different projects, and I guess once that foot's in the door, they keep on using you.
Oh yeah. If you find a reliably good narrator, I mean, it's absolutely a good idea to keep them because they're hard to come by. Like those are people that I like look up to. Like I think I've seen R.C. Bray pop up a couple times recently, who narrated The Martian, and he was like kind of what got me into audiobooks. So yeah, that's the kind of caliber of person.
One of my favorite is Cameron Byerly. Do you know who that is?
I do not actually.
He did all the David Eddings books except one, and the one that he did not do, it's like, oh no, this sounds terrible.
Oh yeah,
like Gary-Ad Malorian, Sparhawk stuff.
Well, the tough thing about following another narrator like that is like even if you're amazing, you have to almost be like twice as amazing as you normally are because you not only have to surmount expectations that are already in place, you have to surmount the expectations that the other narrator set, which are probably really high.
Well, and then Kate Redding and Michael Kramer, who do Wheel of Time, are also very good.
Oh yeah.
And one of the ones that we were surprisingly, because my kids, they have a lot of Audible gave away a lot of books for free for kids because what's going on.
Of course.
My son was listening to R.L. Stine one, and R.L. Stine's not the greatest narrator.
He narrates his own stuff?
Some of them, yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
There's better ones, but I'm glad you're doing a lot of stuff. So what you're doing right now is an entire series. Did they give you all the books at one time?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of drip feeding because initially he's going to be launching some short stories. I think the one I have right now is called Wings of Destiny. It's kind of it's really cool actually. It's like a Dragon Ball Z in space kind of deal. So I really the main character is it's called Wings of Destiny. Main character is a guy named Chase. He's like a Goku Gohan hybrid type character who's like a crack space pilot and gradually discovers that he's got like crazy special powers.
Do you get to scream a lot and pass out?
Actually, I have been sent because this author was kind enough to send me some direction of how he wants certain things to sound, and he said yes. Eventually, at some point, you're going to have to do a Gohan scream. So,
does he know that the actual voice actors of Dragon Ball Z have an initiation that they scream until they pass out, and that's when you're officially part of the team?
I did not know that, but I could see why.
I learned that from J. Michael Tatum, because he's like Zard. Is it Zardon? I haven't seen that show in a long. He's the pretty spice boy.
Oh, okay.
But he doesn't scream very much, and so like the first time he got to do one of those, he passed out, and the guy who voices Master Roshi like was there when his eyes open and says, "Well, you're officially part of the team now."
Oh, that's good. That's quite a ritual. I mean, I could see that because it's not like they're. That's one. Yeah, I didn't think about how much just respiratory effort that would take.
But Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So how many books do you actually work on at one time? Or do they actually keep it one at a time, or do you have to like shuffle multiple at a time?
Right now, just because of school, I tend to keep it to like no more than like two. With this series, since I'm getting drip fed one at a time, that's all I'm doing, just so I can just so I can keep on top of college and stuff like that. But at the same time, basically the faster I can churn these out, presumably the more that I can do. And I like to be like, while the author is reviewing the book that I just recorded and edited, I'd like to be recording the next one, just so I can, keep a decent pace of production going.
Nice.
But it all just depends on college.
And then with these ones, so people know, when you do books for Audible, usually the way you get paid is based on sales.
Yes.
There are some that get paid up front, but those are like, like ones we talked about before, like Cameron Byerly. If you're going to do a voice for like Wheel of Time, you get paid more up front because you get paid up front because they know it's going to sell well.
Yes.
And by the other ones, you get paid on sales based, because they don't know how much it's going to sell. But if they know it's going to sell well, that you get paid more up front.
Yes.
I'm assuming all of yours are pretty much paid by sale.
Lately, actually, no. I've been getting some pay up front gigs. This author in particular, a gentleman named Christian Callias, Kallias is his last name. He has sold over 300,000 copies of his books. So he has reason to expect he'll be doing just fine. So yeah, he said, I'll pay you up front for it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it was
I am on his
very,
page
very
right now.
exciting.
Maybe I can stalk him and get him on the show too. Oh, he does like military sci-fi.
Yes.
Universe in Flames.
But it's like twisted with Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, Universe in Flames is his flagship series.
Nice. These are really colorful covers too.
Oh yeah, I think he designed some of his own covers now too. He's a very multi-talented man.
That's really cool. And as a student, that's really important. And this is also a job that you can do when, things are shut down.
Exactly. Well, and especially because people are going to need audio right now.
Yeah. We need
They're
something
going to
do.
need stuff to listen to.
That and, Dayquil and NyQuil and Ambien and
Yes,
Benadryl.
yes. Oh, my ZQuil budget has gone up a lot.
I actually saw someone today in science class. We learned all about Benadryl. They were very apt students. Like, you're a terrible person. But that's awesome. That's awesome. And we know in audio dramas, I got to use you for a lot of voices. And
yeah.
You have a lot of good English accents. Have you been trying to come up with new accents of late?
So one character that I voice in Wings of Destiny, Captain Cerudis, he asked me to do in like a quasi Sean Connery accent. So I was watching old clips of like Dr. No and The Rock and trying to do that. And I ended up kind of sounding like Patrick Stewart trying to do Sean Connery.
So not like the SNL skit one,
No, thankfully. No, not like that, Trebek. Yes. Thankfully, I did not sound like Daryl Hammond.
And anytime I was, every time I think about doing accents, I always end up watching like a clip from like Trevor Noah, and I'm like, crap.
Oh, dude, he's so good.
He is too good at picking up accents. While me, since I lived next to Indian people for quite a while, I'll hear like Apu talk, and then like my wife will like smack me 3 hours later because I'm still talking like Apu. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk like Apu, but it just comes out, and I shouldn't do that.
It's that's happened to me a couple of times where I've heard, because at Starbucks I get a lot of Australian customers, and Aussie is actually one of the accents I've started to get pretty good at. So I will occasionally I will catch myself accidentally talking back to them in their accent. And they've yet to react, but I feel like, because it's gone on long enough, like it's gone on for at least half a sentence to where I feel like they must have noticed and they were just being polite.
Well, the longer you're exposed to something, like, for example, when I visit family in New Zealand, I do pick up a New Zealand accent when I'm there. Since, you cut off stuff like ka, is this.
Oh, yeah.
My New Zealand accent's a fun one. Like, when anyone who says, how do they talk in New Zealand? I'm like, Taika Waititi.
Yes.
You talk like Korg.
Hey, man, I'm Korg.
That's a New Zealand accent. Or, even how he talks like Hitler. That's If you haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, I fully recommend
Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit. It's an excellent movie. And his episode of Mandalorian was the best one.
Really?
Have you seen the show?
No, I've been so busy mathing.
Don't worry, I saw it like 2 days ago.
Okay. I feel
'Cause
less behind
I was
now.
busy waiting for my wife to watch it with me, and then we gave up.
Yeah.
And then I went through it in a day and a half. But Taika Waititi directs an episode in there, and you're like, that's the best one.
Oh, yeah. That's not surprising. Taika Waititi's amazing.
Even, I just kind of wish in Green Lantern he had kept his Kiwi accent.
Yeah. No, his accent's great.
And, his quirky sense of humor. But yes, New Zealand accents can be a lot of fun to do. Just curious, the more people you see, the more accents you can pick up, but you have to find a way to do it without sounding like a caricature, which is the struggle.
Yes.
Which is why Trevor Noah makes me jealous, because he can just pick it up, and it's...
Oh yeah, he's incredible. Like, I have no idea how he does it with that degree of speed. It usually takes me at least a couple of weeks to really, I'm not even going to say nail down, to sound like not a caricature. Like it's instead like I can sound like, after a couple weeks of practice, I can sound like an American who is making a noble, not entirely disrespectful attempt to talk that way.
Yeah. But I'm glad you're picking up more stuff, and maybe sometime in I've been writing more stuff. Not audio dramas, because I the next project I want to do is more of a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
Think of not an audio drama with a lot of narration.
Yay.
That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then for November, writing month, I actually was writing the sequel. Because it's once I have the second one written, it's a lot easier to go through the first and be like, okay, can fix this, fix that. But then I got distracted with life.
But I can't be Wayland anymore because Wayland died.
Different series. This is fantasy.
Okay.
This is straight up fantasy.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, that series, I don't know where I'd go anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe Wayland crashed so hard he actually like rammed into another universe. Yeah, he shows up and he's just like, "Where is my X-wing?"
Because I think I wrapped up the Star Wars series pretty.
I think so.
Cleanly.
Yeah, you did.
And there were so many moving parts and so many people in that one. I think I'm good. Let's do something different.
Well, it almost
Well, there's two of them we were working on. Like the other Brian, who also works with us, he another one we've been talking about is called Project M, which is kind of like, think of something like The Matrix.
Oh, nice.
But you discover that so basically people have been given these meds their entire life, and when someone gets off of them, they realize that basically the world is ruled by trolls and orcs and goblins. But all these people you've been seeing are actually trolls, orcs, and goblins, but they look like humans when you're on the meds.
Okay.
So think of urban fantasy, but you don't know it's urban fantasy till you're off the drugs they've been giving you, and then you realize it's freaking bright.
Oh, wow. That reminds me of like that old game Syndicate Wars, where everybody takes pills and it looks like a classic middle American suburb, and then as soon as their pills wear off, it's like a cyberpunk dystopia.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be that one first or straight up fantasy first. Straight up fantasy one, I actually started writing when I was role playing when I was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost done, but one of my co-writers, he actually died by suicide a few years ago.
Oh my god!
And so that kind of like kiboshed it for a while.
Clearly, yeah.
But that one will get done. The problem is when it's a project that's personal and you're like, I only get one chance to do this.
Of course.
You want to do it right, so it's like it's scary. But we have more stuff coming. And like you and Ben and Eric
Ben.
Montague. Yeah, he was Saren. His name was Eric Montague. If that's not the most actor name you can think of.
That is.
And then you, Ben, and so on. It would be a lot of fun. We need to do more.
It would be.
But I need to write it, and I need to not sit on my butt and be like, "I'll write the next one next month," and then a year later, I swear I'm writing it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I feel like you just want to get it all written and recorded, and then you can stick to your release schedule just because it's all already done.
Yeah, then I don't have to worry about people like breaking up with other people or disappearing or getting sick or not wanting to do it anymore. And it's like, no, just do it all at one time.
Yeah, Fallout 4 this. Make the game done and then announce, oh my god, it's ready. It's here.
As long as they don't Fallout 76 it.
Yeah, I was going to say, be Bethesda before Bethesda did a Fallout 76.
With 20 times the detail.
Yes.
But I'm glad you're doing well. So are you doing any like theater productions or anything as well?
So I've not done theater productions, but I got into public speaking for quite a while before math took over my life, which I'm okay with because I love math. But I was a public debater for a long time. I joined El Camino's debate team, and so I did a lot of like on stage persuasive speeches. I spoke very persuasively about the same thing. It was the same memorized 10-minute speech over and over and over. And you know what was funny was I got third place nationally for that speech. And the reason I didn't place higher than that, I didn't make it out of the semifinals and placed in the third tier. One of the judges wrote, "You sound a little too perfect, almost like you're reading an audiobook."
Oops.
Yup.
Well, so does your college have like math labs that you could run? Because like in my undergrad one, if you were in a math class, there was like 900 students in your class, so there'd be like 40 TAs, and the TAs would all run the lab.
Well, thankfully with El Camino, those class sizes, which is the community college I go to, the class sizes are very, very small. So what you can actually do is just you work at what's called the Math Study Center, which is what's called a drop-in lab. And that's where students just show up and go, "I have math problems, help."
I have
and then
math. Help,
I go, help, math bad. I can't math, help. And then you just help them math, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So I do that, and that keeps my math sharp while I take the rest of these GEs before I can transfer. But
I was actually supposed to talk at my alma mater because I guest teach with my with the upcoming cohorts of counselors, and usually it's it's via Skype and so on. But I was supposed to teach them actually today, but because they're all online, you can't really like do a live lesson very well.
No.
And so I had to pre-record it and send a video, but that makes it really hard because I'm like, it's a topic that you really want to do question and answers for.
I like to think, you know what you could do is if you know a student's name, you could anticipate that they have a question, even if it's totally wrong, and just go like, "Yes, Jimmy, I know
Jimmy,
you're
is
going
there
to
a Jimmy
ask
in
me
here?
about
Tim,
this."
Tim, you have a question. Sarah, you have a question.
And then like on the off chance there's a Jimmy raising his hand, he just freaks out.
Or wakes up. Ah!
He knew the answer before I asked.
But yeah, it's an interesting world we live in. And I didn't do debate, but they didn't have drama, debate, and forensics like even in the schools I went to. Really? I did like Business Professionals of America, which I did fairly well in. Like fairly well, I mean like I won every event I did in regional and state. The only time I didn't win was nationals.
What are the events for Business Professionals of America?
Like any written test I won.
Okay.
And then we did like small business management team where they get given a scenario and you have to come up with like a business plan for it.
Nice.
Interview stuff, stuff like that. Went to nationals a few times. That was fun. I did that sort of stuff, and I did drama. I was in South Pacific as in high school.
Yes.
I was the admiral, or not the admiral, the captain, the Navy captain on the island.
Nice.
Which is the only major role without singing in a musical. I wonder what that means.
I don't. Oh, nothing. Clearly nothing at all. Pure coincidence.
It was really fun, though, because like in the third act, I'm literally on stage the entire time. I never leave, which means that's a very nerve-wracking time.
Oh, yeah.
But it was fun. It was fun. And now, of course, I get to talk a lot because I get to talk to students and classes and parents and so on. And my co-counselor always wonders how the heck I do it. I'm like, because you have to be sarcastic. If they're middle schoolers, you got to throw their sarcasm back at their face.
Exactly.
Oh, you're too tired. Oh, no.
You catch their Kamehameha and then you give it back twice.
Like, well, you have to do it in a way that's not mean.
Yes.
At the same time, don't take the crap.
No.
Do it with a smile. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But it sounds like you're doing good. So you have another year, and then you're going to be going to continue. But until that time, you're doing an entire book series, which you're being paid for in advance, which is good. That'll help pay some bills.
Yes.
Since caffeine shops don't necessarily pay the bills as much sometimes.
Well, especially not when they, close because of
Are you saying
COVID.
caffeine is not essential? That is not an essential business?
Yeah, a lot of people would beg to differ. Actually, what a lot of them are doing, although thankfully, Starbucks was nice enough to give some of us the option of taking some time off if, we had family commitments or other reasons not to go into work, like we just plain didn't feel safe, which a lot of us don't. So I ended up taking that option. And then right as I took that, Mr. Callius came to me and was like, hey, here's 16 books. And I was like, okay, that was serendipitous. But what a lot of Starbucks are doing now is they're just drive-through only. So you're just like in this little quarantined shell interacting with people only through a window. And like every time they hand you cash or you even touch their hand, you immediately have to run to the back room and wash your hands. So it's like 30 to 40 minute wait times in some of the drive-throughs because literally everybody is going.
One thing that's hilarious the other day, so, here we're not shelter in place, we're not locked down.
Yeah.
Around me is. But, like, I went to, like, Safeway.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I usually go there alone. But, like, I was in the checkout aisle where they have, like, lines and, mark where you're supposed to stand. And I just cleared my throat because it's allergy season.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went, like, and, like, everyone around me just moved.
Oh, my God.
Excuse me? Or, like, I sneezed because there's pollen everywhere.
Yeah.
Cleared space.
Well, I've also, because I have, do you know what EIB is?
EIB.
It's exercise-induced bronchoconstriction.
Oh,
so
yes.
basically, yeah, you have quasi-asthma after you work out for like an hour or two after you do it, and you can go into coughing fits. And so I've been, obviously because I'm at home and bored and I have nothing else to do, that's one of the things I've been trying to do. And so the last few times I've worked out, gone into coughing fits for like 2 hours, gone, oh my God, I'm infected. And then was like, wait, you just exercised. Yeah.
Weird
or
times.
Like, oh crap, I just exercised. I can't go out in public because everybody will think I have COVID because I am coughing.
So one thing that comes to mind before we wrap this up, because I know we have to be responsible and sleep sometime. Or think about sleeping. Dream about sleeping. How long of a session do you usually, when you record books, how long of a session do you usually go? Do you usually just go a chapter at a time? Do you usually try to go multiple chapters? How long do you go, and do you, like, how much practice do you do before you actually start reading it?
I don't like to cold read, so I always will do a preliminary read where I kind of go through and I highlight what the most important bits of the text are. See, yeah, that's me going with this. You need to be responsible and sleep. Thank you for reminding me, buddy. But yeah, I go through and I highlight what the most important parts of the text are, what a lot of narrators will call the spine of the text. And after I do that, I like to send character voice samples to the author and go, here's what I have in mind for him. Here's what I have in mind for her, and different things like that. And then after that, I'll just start. I like to record between 1 and 2 hours, but not more than 4, because otherwise you'll shred your voice. If you go more than 4 hours talking in a small closet, you will not only drive yourself crazy, you will really hurt your vocal cords.
Do you take breaks in between? Like, you'll finish a chapter and then you'll just go take a break, do something else, and then go back?
Yeah. Usually I try to endure being in because I literally will just record in my closet. I have mattress foam and pinned up in my closet, and apparently clothes are really, really good at dampening echo.
Oh, yes.
So
very.
I just have my clothes and my mattress foam dampen all the echo for me. And then I'll sit in there for about 1 hour at a time, and then I'll get out. I might do some editing. I'll probably go get water, because it's talking for an hour at a time is a good way to dry your throat out. But yeah, just breaks in between for sanity and maintenance.
Nice.
Yeah.
And now you have a lot of stuff to do and a lot more time. Well, a lot more and a lot less time to do it, because time is now distributed differently.
Oh my gosh, it's weird. So like everybody, I immediately thought the same thing. I was like, I'm going to have so much time now that I'm not going to work. And I'm like, wait, why do I still feel like I have no time?
A lot of people are like, oh, look, you have so much time to play video games. Like, I have 3 kids at home. Good luck. And I'm working education, which means it's not an extended spring break. I still have to put in 40-hour weeks.
All stir-crazy children at home. That's not time.
Yeah. And there's literal people dying in my town.
That's
My
terrifying.
small
Yeah,
town.
we had a confirmed case at my school.
Well, like, there's a confirmed dead body down my street, so
Good Lord.
one of the
Well,
few
as
and two
long as
more
it doesn't
unconfirmed
reanimate.
ones up the street. So yeah, if they've been reanimating, my town would die.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by the desert
Oh dear.
and a lake, Lake Powell. I guess we can go on all the houseboats,
Okay, good.
provided it doesn't go like the airplanes in World War Z,
And also provided there's no reanimating dead bodies on the houseboats, in which case
or
you were screwed.
walking the. Oh no. There's actual scholarship for middle schoolers that I try to tell the students to do, which was basically a zombie apocalypse one that you write a 1.5 page to 2 page essay, double spaced, so it's not really long,
No.
about how you'd survive the zombie apocalypse in your hometown.
Okay.
Pretty easy, right? No one did
Yeah.
it last year. Like
No.
nationwide. I'm like, that is the easiest scholar. How many of you have ever thought about this? All of them.
All of them, obviously.
Just
Adults
get off your
still
butt
think about
and write
that.
about it. But yeah, but it's good to talk to you, man. It's good to talk.
Good to talk to you too, dude.
And I look forward to hearing more of your epic intros. What did it like doing one for yourself?
It was interesting. I had to do a little bit of a fourth wall break for it because I was like, how am I gonna? It's like on the one hand, yeah, I guess standard procedure is talk about what the person is doing with their life, but it's like, how am I gonna do that and sound either like I don't know. It was really really weird, but I had fun. I like what I came up with, and hopefully the audience found it entertaining. Because I certainly enjoyed it. It was a lot more sound editing than some of my other ones. I think the only one that I sound edited more than that was the Wally Winger intro because of the fact that I had to do the Irken Empire thing.
Which you guys will hear in the near future. Trust me.
Yay!
You guys will hear that in the near future. Just
Yeah.
things happened. But yeah, this is awesome. And I definitely look forward to hearing more of those and having you on probably sooner than later.
I would love to.
Not a 4-year break this time.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I mean,
Even though it didn't really
once
feel
every
like a
4 years.
4-year break because we also had you do voices and stuff anyway.
Oh yeah.
It's not like we weren't hearing you. It's just we didn't have you on.
Oh yeah, you and I, we keep in touch. It's just I haven't gotten a chance to talk to the listeners in quite some time, and I miss them.
Maybe have
I
you
miss
on
the
Let's Talk
listeners.
Fandom sometime because we talk about lots of things and we just
Am I right in guessing that one of the things you discuss is fandom?
Well, the problem is everything we talk about now is like, here's all the movies that got canceled or postponed. Here's the
Oh,
video game stuff that got messed with.
I was so sad when the new Bond movie got canceled because I'm like, I need the fifth one to be good. I want Daniel Craig to go out on a high note, man.
Bond, Mulan,
Yep.
Fast and Furious. I'm like, what am I going to watch? Nothing. Apparently nothing. Nothing at all because there's
Fast
nothing
and
in
Furious
theaters.
is now slow and cautious.
0 box office this week. which
Oh
is
yeah.
weird.
Well, I mean,
Let's make every theater a drive-in theater. We'll all be good.
it's just okay. We're a few people drive your cars into the theater. We'll make this work.
but awesome. Thank you so much. And if
Thank
people
you.
want to ask you questions or talk to you, if they have more about, like how the heck do they get to be working Audible, where can they stalk you or find you?
So I'm on acx.com. You can just search me there. If you have an Amazon account, you can use ACX. That's the easiest way to contact me. I actually don't have social media. I'm a little bit of a digital ghost just because math took over my life. So I'm like, I'm going to do just that. But you can search me on ACX is probably the easiest way to get in touch. So there's that. And if you need math services, you can also find me on a website called care.com. But if you through either of those channels tell me, hey, I heard you on Fanitarium, I want to ask you a thing, I will not be mad. Be like, yes, I know this is an unusual forum for it, but hi.
Unless you want to ask him about the thing and ask him if he is the thing, he is not the thing. Unless
I am
you
not.
are.
Well, at least as far as you know, I'm not. If
Are
you
you a
knew whether
mimic?
or not I was, I'd be really bad at being a mimic.
I love the joke that was like, what's going on? Mimics. I laughed. He laughed. The table laughed. We all had a good time. But on that note, thank you so much. And of course, listeners, as always, so long. And thanks for all the fish.